Hello everybody, back at it again with another video. It's Christoph Kennedy here with The Voice of Life. I wanted to talk about something that's something probably more of a male issue. Actually no, I don't even want to say that, because nowadays men and women all struggle with this. But being a man myself, being a male, obviously going to have more of a male perspective. Here's I'll say it like this. The topic of the video, the title that I have is Word Over WAP and Lord Over Lust. Yeah, so all my non-biblical people, or you don't believe in God, or you know you're lost in non-truth, you're lost in the lies, go ahead and click off right now. But if you struggle with sexual immorality or sexual just lust, like you can't get over it, it's always on your mind, you're always chasing somebody, and you know you're struggling, then you know you can stick around. I'm clearly somebody who's never struggled with it, you know. It's not like a human or anything. Never struggled with this, so I don't even know what I'm talking about. I don't even know why I'm making this video. Never dealt with sexual immorality, never fornicated, never had sex outside of marriage. Yeah. I'm probably one of the right ones to make this video. Alright? Word over WAP. Alright? What does that mean? The word, aka God's word, aka the Bible, listen to the Holy Spirit, any of his messages, teachings, Jesus Christ, right? We're just getting into the word, right? Over WAP. If you don't know what WAP is wet. You can look it up. It was a song by Cardi B. Millennials, people, you know, before millennials, I don't know, Gen Z may or may not know, but I mean, you probably know. Oh, there she go. Laying it thick down there. Okay. But if you don't know what WAP is, look it up. I'm not gonna say it, just look it up, man. If you don't know, if you know, then you know. The word over WAP, man. I stay in my word. I stay in the Bible. And real quick on that, people have such a weird understanding of what the Bible is. People think like the Bible is like a religious text, stuff like that. It's not religious at all, actually. Like, it's actually just very practical. Like, straight up, it's very practical. Has drama in it. It's relatable. Human psychology, human understanding, right? Proverbs and principles that we all live by, whether we know it's from the Bible or not. Almost every saying or hearing or anything that you've heard that we live like just every day by, like the greenest grass the grass is green on the other side. You know, idioms like that, sayings like that. A lot of us would be very surprised how many things come from the Bible that we think that just came from society, came from people. A lot of those sayings came from the Bible, y'all. All right. Again, even if you don't believe in God, the Bible is not a religious text because God is not the one who established religion. That is Satan, right? Religion, at the end of the day, which even when I was younger, I always understood it to be a man-made thing, like a business thing. That is something the devil made. The devil was the first one to create business. Business at the end of religion at the end of the day is a man's attempt to replace God or be in the same level or space as God, right? Catholicism, Judaism, Hinduism, Islam, all that stuff, right? Like God himself, you know, when it comes to Christianity, even there are extreme Christianity people, extreme Christians out there who turn the belief in God and following Christ into a religion, right? At the end of the day, it's as simple as, do you believe in God? Do you follow Christ? It's that simple. There's no religion necessary. There's no extra titles needed. For a while, I even was hesitant to call myself Christian, because it's just the connotations behind it, and again how it's used sometimes. At the end of the day, if you really ask me, I just follow Christ. I follow his teachings. I believe in God. To me, it doesn't make sense to not believe in God. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Like, you can be so, we understand that spirituality exists. We are all spiritual, right? If you're in a room and somebody came in crying, you would understand, and you would either empathize with that, or you'd feel indifferent about it, you feel weird about it, or you kind of be, or maybe you start tearing up too. But you're gonna be affected. Someone comes into the room, they're yelling, they're screaming, they're hollering, you're gonna be affected one way or the other. That's spirituality. Because physically, they don't have to physically be crying on you. That they're crying, their anger doesn't have to be aimed towards you, but you will be affected by it. That's spirituality. Right? Our spirits are connected. Right? The fact that we're all humans, we're all one ecosystem, we're all of one species. Right? We're very different in the fact that we have a left and a right brain. I mean, maybe other animals do too, I'm not too sure. But the way our left and right brain works, we have a logical side and we have an artistic side. Right? We have a hardcore fact side and we have a spiritual side. That's why we have arts and crafts. That's not a coincidence, having arts and crafts in society. And that's another reason why arts and crafts is important. Arts and crafts are both important, but that's for another video. All right. A lot of times we're too quick to cancel out the arts, but we might as well cut a half of our brain off. But anyways, we're all spiritual, right? So to not believe there's a God is like, you'd have to look at all these things. You'd have to look how nature works. See those birds over there, how they're flying in harmony. Those birds can fly off in harmony. As a people, we can create programs and schools and leaderships, right? We could design society. Trees have ecosystem, grass has ecosystem, other birds and other creatures, fish in the sea, all have ecosystems and biomes, or the earth has different biomes where certain weather pattern exists. It's harder for you to convince me at this point that this all just came to be by accident. How could it be by accident? How could we ourselves as people have structures and certain ways of doing things, have rules and regulations, right? And certain designs. But there was nothing out there that's greater than us that connects all of us, that taught us that. Like, we just made all this by accident. As people, we're just so gifted and talented that we just did all this by accident, even though the creation of life came before us as people, right? Life was created, and then as people, we were brought into this life. To feel like there is no God or nothing that connects all of us. And God, by the way, it more than just a who. God is a who and a what. He's a who and a what. That's when God says, I am the am that I am. I am that I am. He can be who or what he needs to be to make all possible. I think God is just simply just the culmination of everything around us. Right? God is the name that was given, but that we use to understand everything that connects us all. It wouldn't make sense there would have to be multiple gods. That wouldn't make sense. That wouldn't be necessary. That's doing too much. It also wouldn't make sense that all this stuff just came to be by accident. Right? Like, people have made multiple gods, like a tree god, a rain god, a flower god, a money god. People make money their god. People make sex their god. Right? All that isn't necessary. It actually makes it a lot easier to understand and more simpler, which is something the Bible does, is makes things very, very simple, actually. Not complicated. Yeah, it's a big old book. There's rules, there's regulations, but when you understand the overall basis is to just serve your life and the life around you in a harmonious and good way, it's really not that many rules as you think. Or like, a lot of these rules could be understood as you read them that they're all connected, right? But anyways, word over WAP. WAP just is just a female lady part, okay? And there's a lot of us out there, especially as brothers, who are so controlled by the women and their parts, because that's all you see them as. And ladies, you are no different. Some of y'all are so controlled by a BAD. If we knew what a WAP was, a BAD is a big, yeah, Johnson, right? Y'all get what I'm saying? And instead of Lord of Lust, right? Bondage over his, yeah, okay, y'all get what I'm saying, right? Bondage. Some of y'all are stuck in bondage, right? Because ladies and gentlemen, sex is ruling so many people. And again, been there, done that. Been there, done all the things, man. Fornicated. Helped somebody else have an affair with their husband. Right? Watched porn. Or corn, because you can't say it on YouTube. Whatever, I already said it. Watch adult content, I'll say that. I've done all the things. Done all the things, man. And that has not made me any more successful than what I am, and what I was before I was doing all that stuff. I haven't been any more successful. I haven't felt any more free. Right? At the same time when I was doing that stuff, I was smoking, I was drinking, and I was surrounded by people who were doing all the same things. Such a waste of time. That's why I made a video right before this one, talking about desires and necessities, right? We don't need sex. That's not a need. It is a desire, and a strong one. An absolutely powerful and strong one, right? It's primal to our beings as people. That's actually the very first commandment that God gave us, right? Was to be fruitful and multiply, right? Multiplying could be in multiple things, but I think we all understand being fruitful multiplies, and multiplying, if we understand the analogy was between fruits and ourselves, and us as men, we obviously carry the seed that other fruits carry. And if we were to keep the analogy going, a fruit-bearing seed is great, but the seed cannot grow unless it's planted into a garden or into the earth, right? Which represents the woman. Ironically, we call the earth Mother Earth, right? But without the seed from the fruit, the earth would also have nothing to bear, right? So it is a necessity in a sense for the human race. But day to day, while we're living and while we're not married and we don't have someone to rightfully bear our seed into, right? It's not a necessity. It shouldn't be a necessity. I'll speak to men specifically, right? Here's another reason why the Bible is so prevalent, and I really wish more men just read the first 3 chapters of Genesis, the first book. Just read the first 3 chapters. Like, you don't even have to be a huge believer in God. When I was reading the Bible, I wouldn't say that I was on fire for Christ. I wouldn't say that. I've always had a belief in God, but I wouldn't say I was so on fire for Christ. I just had to read the Bible. I wasn't feeling that way. I'm just gonna be frank. Something did lead me though to read the Bible. I recognize it now that was the Holy Spirit, and I was in a place where I was so depressed, where again, none of the weed was satisfying me. The alcohol was giving me a headache. I was in one bad relationship after the other. And that's what we fall into when we chase all these things. Weed just doesn't do it. You don't need that. Alcohol just doesn't do it. You don't need that. Sex is not that gratifying. You don't need it. Does it feel good? Yes. Is it a necessity for life? To birth life, yes. But for your day-to-day living, it's not a necessity. Ask married couples. Once they've had kids or they've had all the sex that they wanted, how long does that really last, that desire? Ask most of your couples, man. If they're not scheduling it or specifically spreading that out, as far as like having sex and things, it's not an everyday thing. Probably for the first like weeks or month after being married or whatever. But it's not for the rest of life. Like, eventually real life happens or continues to happen and other things become a priority, right? Sex is great, it's amazing, it's a beautiful thing, but there's a reason why God put it for marriage, right? Because whenever you have sex with somebody, you bond to them. That's why you can never trust somebody. Don't ever trust somebody, and especially women, because I'm sorry, I hear y'all say it more than anybody else. Don't ever trust anybody say it, especially not women, who say they can have sex and not care. Don't trust that. Or don't trust that they really mean that and their life is going so well and they're free and they're happy. Don't trust that. You can have, having sex, both men and especially women are in the most vulnerable place. Men, we kind of probably have it a little bit easier. But ladies, you are literally in a position where you are having to submit to what the guy is doing, even if you're on top. Even if you're on top, at the end of the day, you got to submit to this guy literally being inside of you. You have to submit to that. You are at your most vulnerable. You have to trust that at the end of the day, this guy is not going to take advantage of you or kill you. So to say you can have sex with somebody and not care, I can't trust you. And you shouldn't trust yourself saying that. If you hear anybody else saying that, don't trust that. Because what that's telling me, if you're openly telling people, oh yeah, I've had sex with 30, 40, 50, 100 plus people, it means nothing to me. One is telling me, okay, psychologically you're damaged. Secondly, you have zero respect for yourself at this point. And again, I'm sorry, I hate to keep harping on the women, but ladies especially, that is a temple. And that's another video idea that I have that I'm going to talk about one day. But your body is a temple. It's like your body was a house. You just let anybody come into your house, take all the furniture, let them come to your house, take the furniture, you gave to the house key. Some of them you give them the house key, not everybody, but some of them you give the house key, they can just keep coming in and out. They come inside, take your furniture, and leave. And you talking about somebody, I didn't really need that furniture anyways. You got no couch, you got no chairs. They took all your dinner plates, they took your utensils, they took your food. But no, I didn't really need that stuff anyways. Y'all know that don't make sense. But y'all treat y'all bodies the same way. You have sex with multiple people and just be like, yeah, no, it was just a fun time. It was a fun time getting robbed. Your dignity got robbed, right? Your self-respect is getting robbed. Your self-esteem is getting robbed, but you don't care. And I'm telling y'all, do not listen to people who say they can have sex and not care. People will see this and still be like, but it wasn't really that big of a deal. Guys too. Y'all acting like y'all don't care. Y'all acting like y'all don't care. Like society has convinced us as men having sex with multiple women is so great. When not every single story, but most stories in the Bible where men fell and the great men, kings and leaders and whatnot, when they fell the most, it was usually because of having too many women in their lives. Bro, I don't know. I've never been that guy to juggle multiple women at one time, but always having one was plenty headache enough. No offense, ladies. And I'm sure we're plenty headache for y'all. But I can't imagine the guys who got multiple women around them. That usually just doesn't work. I'm not saying it can't happen. Like the guys who have like multiple girls or multiple wives, whatever. Hey, great, more power to you. More power to you. That's one person you also got to worry about. But anyways, word over WAP. The Bible talks about all these things. Sex is great. It's not a necessity. It's not a necessity. Bible just talks about these things. The Bible, again, it's not a religious text. If you read the Bible like it was just an instruction manual, right? The best acronym I heard for the Bible is basic instructions before leaving Earth. If you just read the Bible like it's an instruction manual, it actually makes way more sense. All right. But like the second part of the title says, Lord over lust. Jesus Christ, man. Follow Christ. And again, we all follow something. We all follow something. I'm not mad at people who've been hurt by church. I'm not mad at atheists who've been hurt by church or hurt by people at the church, when at the time they didn't have the understanding to separate the relationship between the relationship and people's religion when it comes to God. I'm not mad at people who couldn't separate the two. I couldn't when I was younger. I got into fornicating and drinking and drugs and all that stuff because when I was younger, I ran away from the church because I knew it was a business. I knew it wasn't right. I knew the religious understanding of church was not right. I knew it. But I couldn't decipher between the religion and the relationship that I now have with God. If I would have had this back in the day, I've been a whole different person. And that's not to be regretful or anything like that. But I would have been further along on my journey with Christ. But that's okay. Everything happens the way it does. Everything happens the way it's supposed to. Everything. I try not to say if and stuff like that. I really only said that right now just for the example what I'm speaking of right now. But I really try not to live my life on, well, if I would have done this, if I would have, stuff like that. There's no point. There's no point. Why? Because everything happens the way it's supposed to. Everything happens the way it's supposed to. Do you know why it does? Because it happened. That's simple. Everything happens the way it's supposed to happen because it happened. It's that simple. It's that simple. Let me not venture too far off topic though. The moment you control your desires for sex, which I feel like for a lot of people, especially the more and more, especially like in the West and in America, and it may be happening in other parts of the world, as this devil starts to get more of a stronghold over the earth, right? More and more people are going to be falling into that. And this video is just going out to people who are just on that fence and looking for that much more of encouragement. There's plenty of men out there talking about this stuff. There's plenty of women, I'm sure, talking about this stuff too. We need more people out there talking about it. Run away from sexual immorality. Run away from the desires of the flesh. That's what the Bible talks about. Right? People will question the Bible and not want to read it. But name me one book that's been around for as long a time, and as prevalent, and as popular, as relevant. Right? There's no other book out there that I know that's been around for as long and is still booming. Right? I think there was almost a record number in the UK. Either this year or last year, there was a record number of Bibles sold. The Bible's been around for thousands of years and it's still in high demand. That can't be a coincidence, y'all. Ironically so, I try not even to use the word coincidence because I looked it up. Because I realized something. The word coincidence is, I don't want to say never, but it's used one time, and it might be based off the translation that I use, but the word coincidence is used one time from what I researched in the Bible. And even that was used in a very ironic sort of sense. Like it was used in irony. At the end of the day, things happen the way God allows them to happen. The principles and systems that are in place, right? And a principle and a system in place created from the beginning of time by God was if you let sex, that desire for it, run your life, it will destroy you from the inside out. It will. There has been one person, I'm sure nobody out there knows one person, nor yourself, who's let sex control their lives and made it a necessity and was healthier for it. Not one. Like, that's not coincidence. You don't have to believe in God to understand that. Like, you don't have to believe in the truth. I'm gonna start saying that. You don't have to believe in the truth to understand that. You don't have to believe in the truth to understand that lust will control you. It will take over. It's never satisfied, right? Man, I'm 31, and all throughout my 20s, I was surrounded by all these things. By lust, drugs, and alcohol. I actually looked older. I'm 31 now. And I look good. My sun's shining. My skin is shining, right? I ain't got no wrinkles. I mean, I ain't got no hair, but that, that was always a thing. We ain't got to worry about that. But like, I'm feeling good, right? I eat one big meal a day. I have more energy now than I did when I was eating 3 meals, drinking and smoking and hooking up with girls. I mean, I wasn't like hooking up. That was never me. I was always a relationship type. I've always desired to actually be a family man. Always. But I'm understanding a principle of God is that will be delayed if I'm not ready, especially if I want it to be I want it to be a God first family. If I want to be a God fearing man, which I am now, I want my wife to be so. Now I have to heal past all the years of the past decade of not being right. I still catch myself every now and then battling with lust. And again, the example I mentioned earlier, or bringing up my past from earlier, it was not to be regretful, but it's an understanding that if I had a deeper relationship with Christ earlier on, I would have been further along that journey, but that's okay. Now I have a testimony to speak to people, right? And I'm still young. I'm 31. I'm not one of these people out here when I turn 25, I'm all old. That's one thing I never wanted to be. I never understood. People being 25 to 30, they just feel so old. They're like, yeah, we're getting up there. I'm like, at 30? God, I would hate to be you when you're 50 or 60. Like, I would hate to be you. I'm hoping to still get younger. Right? I'm getting younger in my spirit, but wiser in my mind. That's what God helps you do. So do your best to run from lust, run from all these things. It's only going to cripple you. It's only going to hurt you, right? But the Lord, He'll take you to new places. He'll help you become a new person. I believe that because I'm becoming that right now. It's not religious. It ain't no voodoo, weird magic. Just read the Bible's basic instructions. It'll get you right. Till next time, thanks for being here. Peace.